Awesome. Hey, hi, this is Bill Mel and
Mike Schweitzer,
and we're on the air tonight with Behind the Wheel podcast that we put together here. And what is this podcast about, Mike?
So we're just trying to bring a little bit of information to everyone across the U.S. of who these drivers are and their associated clubs, and just trying to share some information and have a good time and talk to a few of these drivers and see what they got going on and see where they're headed.
And when you say drivers, you mean like automobile drivers, or what kind of drivers are you talking about?
Well, we're talking about the Lightning Sprint drivers. There's numerous clubs throughout the U.S. There's the Rocky Mountain Club, and there's the Midwest and Minn Kota and BCRA and Southwest Lightning Sprints and the California Lightning Sprints, and there's a multitude of different clubs out there. So we just started reaching out to people and kind of talking to them a little bit and getting a reaction from them. And so we're going to be focusing on everybody's clubs, not just one club in general. So
awesome. So probably across the U.S. is what we're going to be talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Over time. Hey, So we got a couple drivers tonight that we're going to talk to as well. And those drivers are, who are our drivers tonight?
So the first one is going to be a young man, Grant Sexton.
Awesome. I got Grant on the line already.
Oh.
Yeah. Grant, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, Grant, this is Bill Mel.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I got you on the line, so you're on. We're recording, so we're ready to go. We're kind of
oh, sweet.
Going. We're not necessarily live tonight. We're pre-recording probably the first 8 episodes, if you will, 8 or 10 episodes, and then we'll put them live, and we'll go from there. But man, you're episode 2. Here we go with Behind the Wheel, and so we're doing driver spotlight tonight, and you got you tonight.
Sweet.
Talking. So, man, I'm gonna let Mike take over here for a second.
Hey, Grant, how you doing this afternoon?
Pretty good. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing okay, man. Getting ready for this weekend, probably same as you are.
Yep. Get the cars ready.
Yeah. So, is what we're trying to do, Grant, is just kind of share a little bit of information with everybody across the U.S. with all the different clubs and such. And I mean, we're not focusing on just one club. So we've picked out drivers from all the clubs across the U.S. with some of the help of their presidents and such. And we're going to roll with it and see how it goes. And if it's something that works out, we're going to continue doing it. And if not, we'll do something different.
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah. So Grant, can you tell us how old are you?
I'm 17.
Yeah.
I turned 18 in a month.
And where are you located at? Where do you reside?
We live in Lakeside, California. It's in San Diego County.
There you go, the 619. That's what we're talking about.
Yep, we're like 20 minutes away from the beach.
Wow, that's awesome. So Grant, 17 years old. Holy smokes, that's
yeah,
that's young. So you just graduated?
Yeah, last Friday actually. Yeah.
Last Friday, just graduated. So Grant, what's next?
Just gonna focus on work more and stack my pennies while I'm young, and hopefully make myself a stable future.
Awesome. So work. What do you do for a living?
My dad owns a fire sprinkler company, so I'll be doing that, and then I'll be looking into other stuff. I don't know. The investing stuff's pretty cool. All that stuff's really popular with the younger kids now. I don't know.
Yeah, like some crypto or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Got any good ones for us today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't focus on it that much, but my buddies were talking about it just not too long ago. I thought it was a good idea.
Awesome. When you hear the one, you're going to have to definitely call us back so we can put some coin into that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to update my racing equipment. I'm still back in the 07 age. I can't
so fast.
Yeah. So Grant, we're going to get in here and start asking you a few questions, and just respond the best you can, and we're just going to have a good time with it. But at what age did you start racing? And where at, and what class was you running?
I really started racing. Well, I drove a mini door at Verona when I was about 7. I did about 5 races maybe, and then I flipped really bad. I just stopped racing, and I picked up. I started playing baseball my whole childhood and football. Probably played baseball for about 8 years, and I played football for about 6 years, I would say. And then I was about 13 probably. My dad started getting, or no, I was definitely 12 when he got back into it. He started driving for Billy Kramer, and he started doing some of the Paris races in Ventura. I think he did Bakersfield a few times in his car. And then one day they were testing, and he asked me if I wanted to drive it around the pits, and I said yeah. And I was 12 years old, and we had like a moving blanket underneath me and everything to fit me in the seat. I barely fit. I couldn't see over the dash very good. And I stalled it maybe once or twice, and then I got it going, and I rolled around the pit. And then they were like, all right, well, next session, you should come out here with your gear and stuff. So I found an old suit and a helmet. I think I have Garrett Kramer's old suit. And then an old helmet that I got from Sheldon Creed or somebody. And then, yeah, I did a lot better than we thought I was going to do. I wasn't supposed to leave first gear my first time out, and I shifted into second down the back straightaway my first lap, and I started hauling booty down the straightaways, and they were surprised. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
And then my first race was Bakersfield, and we got in trouble because I was super young and I was scared, but we had a 2-way radio between me and Leighton Kramer, and we got caught. But I was just super scared, and I didn't want to talk to anybody but someone I knew. You know, it was very nerve wracking. But I didn't make it out of the B main because I was in a transfer spot, and I thought rookies had to go to the back every caution, and which I don't know how that makes sense at all. But me as a rookie, I went to the back after I was already in a transfer spot, and then I didn't make it out because it was like 3 to go. It sucked.
Yeah, I remember that night with the radio. But
yeah,
I mean, that's you almost got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad we got caught because we shouldn't have been doing it. That was stupid.
I'd always wondered, you know, I'm kind of new to this whole thing here, Grant. So I'd always wondered, yeah, like, is there communication, like, you know, like in NASCAR, you know, you talk to, hey, we're talking, hey, yeah, I'm going a little fast, I'm going a little slow, bring it up in the corner. You know, you can hear all that stuff when you're watching the races, but so you're not allowed to communicate with the drivers then, right? In this?
Yeah. Well, when we did it, we didn't talk when I was driving because it would distract me.
Yeah.
But anytime there was a caution, he was like quick with it, and we were pretty good. And he would calm me down when I was in the car. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that night very well. I mean, we always pit away from everybody, you know, but I remember that kind of spread like wildfire through the pits.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Hey, so part of this is, you know, kind of an ask and tell. So, you know, you can feel free to ask us any questions anytime you like throughout this as well. If you have any,
right.
Something comes to mind, definitely.
I will.
Yeah.
And so you get to ask Bill, not me.
Right.
So another thing I was wanting to talk to you about, and I've wanted to ask you this many times at the track. So when you first came into Lightning Sprint racing, I know that you was sporting that 44G number, and then you switched to the number 3. What's up with the 3?
We were actually at a race in Placerville, and I believe it was a Swing 360. I don't know the team, but the side of the car said Tri-C Machine or something like that.
Okay.
I just thought it was a really good-looking car, and the number 3 on it looked really fast. And I think Thorson was driving it that night, so it's just even better. But I fell in love with it from there, and then I stuck with it pretty much. It looked cool.
Yeah. You guys have put together some good-looking cars, and they're quick. They're definitely quick, you know.
Thank you.
So, Grant, question for you: what size motor you run in your car?
I run a ZX10, the Kawasaki 1000 cc motorcycle engine. It's pretty quick. I like it. They're very reliable. we used to run the R1s and stuff, and those are pretty reliable too. But then we switched over and we fell in love.
That's interesting because we were talking with another racer last week, and he talked about the Hondas. The Hondas.
Yeah, the Hondas. That was Crowder.
Crowder was saying.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the Hondas. They're pretty reliable. And I'm like, wow. So we got two so far. Two motors that people are talking about are pretty reliable. I bet as we go on here, we're going to find out that everybody kind of has their own go-to spot for that motor and feels comfortable in it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Chris is one of the only, not one of the only, but one of the few people we know that run the Hondas, and he kicks our booty. So those things are quick.
Yeah. So Grant, like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm kind of getting in to be to learn new things, if you will. Part of this is that Mike asked me, how long ago, Mike?
Oh, it's been a couple months.
No, I meant sponsorship. How long?
Oh man, it's been a couple years. Man, it's probably been. I think this is probably our 5th year together.
Fifth year. So me and Mike used to work for the same oil service company, if you will. And my first, my first day out on the rig, Mike, I was working with Wink.
Oh, really?
My first day, Wink and Terry Hibbets.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Learned a lot that day.
Yeah, I'll bet you did. You probably learned a lot of cuss words anyway. For sure.
Right. So in doing this, I kind of, my full-time job actually is real estate. I'm a real estate broker here in Bakersfield. I have Bill Mellon Associates. It's a real estate company. And, I have a few agents that work for me, and Mike hit me up a few years ago about sponsorship on the cars that they were running. And I was like, I could get behind that. So it's been good, but I've been learning. I mean, it's not hasn't always it hasn't been my thing. Sports and stuff really. Dad was not the leader in the sports. We weren't a sports family, if you will. So I've tried my best to be a sports family with my son. Again, you're talking about baseball and football, so I've coached a few of his teams and been a part of.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I appreciate the opportunity to learn from you all, about this great thing, called lightning sprints and racing and how it goes. We talked with a couple of racers last week, and they're talking about, Dad being a part of what they had going on. And I know I'm deviating a little bit from what we kind of talked about, Mike, but how strong of a influence has your dad been in your racing?
Oh, he's definitely like the greatest influence in my whole racing career or racing whatever. He did it when we were really little, and I fell in love with it from there. And then he just, I don't know, he always watches the races, and I always watch with him. My brother's more into the sports, but he also likes watching the racing too. Right. But I don't know, it's just all I watch 24/7, racing with him. And he loves supporting it, and he wants to watch me climb through the ranks, that's for sure.
Good stuff. Do you have any plans, racing plans going forward, or dreams?
Well, I thought about, I used to want to do the whole national tour when I was younger, like the national midget tour, the national sprint car tour. And then I realized you can't really have much of a life doing that. You got to be on the road 24/7. And then I was like, you don't really have to be on the road that much if you stay locally. So I think it'd be really cool to be an accomplished California driver, winning with like the BCRA or NARC 410s or something along those lines.
So I don't know if you remember, Bill, but we're going to go back to toward the end of March. They're at Bakersfield Speedway when you were out there when they ran the World Outlaws.
Yeah.
So Grant is the one that won the lightning sprint main on coming off the last corner, coming to the checkered. No He's kidding. The one that won it. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
That was a scary finish.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was going to ask Bill, how many races has he made since the sponsorship has gone down?
let's see here.
Well, there's been quite a few.
Yeah, I want to say probably at least 2 a season.
Oh, okay.
At least, I mean, that's not a whole lot, if you will, but coming from really, I'll be honest, I get out there and I'm like, holy smokes, this is the only thing that I've ever, been to where you had to take a shower before you left and a shower when you got home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow. So I know, and I don't kind of understand it. It was kind of like I did play rugby when I was 30, and didn't quite understand that either until I watched a couple videos about how it played out. So I'm kind of like whenever I look, I'm always looking for 41. That's our car, if you will. And I always look for it too because it's got my name on it, and so I'm like, all right, we're doing good, we're doing good. We didn't do that good, or I always say we're always ahead, and I'm learning, and Mike's been patient with me too, to be like, we did good, we're coming third, we're good, and I is that good or is that bad? And it's good, it's good, it's all I haven't heard a bad story yet, so we do pretty good, I suppose, and so so I'd say probably about 6 to 10 races.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to get him.
That's a good amount.
I try to get him to come out every time, but
yeah.
He's
do you have
got
any cars that have like really caught your eye when you're there? Like maybe a sprint car or something?
Just that 41. I hate call it bias. So I'm just yeah. I mean, it kind of learning, yeah. So it kind of I mean, they kind of all I know this is going to sound horrible, but the cars kind of look the same body-wise. And then decal-wise, it's everybody's trying to get, racier with the decals. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I know what they were going for this one. And, I get that. Oh, that one's loud too, And when I say loud, I don't mean exhaust loud. I just mean like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty cool graphic. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Are there any like other classes that catch your eye? Like maybe the bigger sprint cars or like the modifieds or anything that's been out there?
Nothing offhand except for, so I see that.
Except for that 41?
The 41. I see like the midget cars and then with the fins. And then I'm like, holy smokes, those are like, they're driving crash up derby cars because they're like full size cars with, bodies on them. I'm like, those are crash up derby cars. I get those, you know what I mean? And no, it's just kind of neat. It gives me I guess the mindset to be like, I guess I could be out there too if I wanted to,
Yep, you sure could.
There definitely is some of those classes like that.
Yeah.
Hey, so just a moment ago when you were talking about your dad, so would you say that he's been your biggest influence in your racing career?
For sure, most definitely.
And
definitely my dad.
How about in life? Same person?
Yeah, definitely. My dad's definitely been my biggest influence. Pretty much taught me everything.
Yeah, you come from a pretty extensive racing family there yourself, with your dad and your uncle and cousins and brother, and you come from a pretty extensive long line of racers there for sure.
Yeah, we all like doing it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nice. So Grant, you'd say you probably started around 12. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's when I first started hopping in the Lightning Sprint.
Holy smokes! So that's put you at 12. What is that? About 5 years.
Yeah, it's my 5th year racing now, or 4th complete year.
Wow, how exciting! So what kind of? I imagine you've met quite a few people. What is what's probably the best racing advice that someone's given you so far?
Look ahead and keep your nose clean. Saves a lot of equipment, saves a lot of money.
Yeah. That's kind of like, it reminds me of when you're driving down the road and in a regular car, keeping your, being mindful of what's going on ahead of you.
Yeah, same exact thing. There's a lot of people that waste equipment just because they weren't paying attention.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah, and that happens pretty frequently too with people. I mean, it's, sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's not, but You know, sometimes you're always in it, it seems like. But so with that, what's some of the best advice that you could give someone that's starting out in lightning sprint racing? What would you tell someone?
Definitely always look ahead. Don't even worry about how fast you're going. Just watch what happens ahead of you. And then I would say probably keep the car as smooth as possible and then get the throttle from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm not the best at advice, but
well, you're still young. You'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like I've been in a few auto accidents, and it seems like whether you're going 5 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour, it all happens in slow motion. Would you agree with that, Grant?
Yeah, I always thought that until I crashed a sprint car 2 weekends ago at Paris. That was the fastest crash that's ever happened, and all my other crashes have been in slow motion. It was crazy.
Wow, how fast do you think you're going?
I don't know. That track's pretty big. It's got long straightaways. Maybe 120.
Yeah.
And then I biked the car and then came back down on all four, straightened it out right towards the wall, and then I destroyed it.
120 miles an hour?
I would say so. Those sprint cars get up there.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's a half-mile track, Paris Auto Speedway.
So is that bigger than Bakersfield?
Oh, yeah. Bakersfield's only a third mile.
And what about Ventura?
Quarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a big track. It carries a lot of speed. When you have problems there, it gets real bad real quick.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I got super lucky.
Yeah.
That's wow. So, Grant, you got a favorite track?
Bakersfield or Placerville, because I don't know, they're super racy, and I like the size of them. I'm not a big fan of the bigger tracks except for Paris, but I really like Bakersfield, and I've won there, so how could I not like it?
Right. So when you say racy, what are you referring to?
It's usually 2 grooves always, and it produces really good racing for the fans.
Gotcha.
And for us. It's fun for us.
Nice. Hey, so you've won some lightning races. So which one would be your favorite? Tell us a little bit about it, and why is it your favorite?
I would probably say the World of Outlaw race was my favorite, just because I was ripping the top the whole time, and then it finally worked out on the last lap. I had so much space in this high side, and it was carrying so much speed, and then finally it stuck at the end, and then we got him right at the line. It was cool, and the crowd loved it. Made me feel like a
the recent one here in Bakersfield, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That was we didn't have too good of a night that night. Some dummy kind of messed up the transponder and paid the subscription, but didn't download the program. So yeah, we started back a few rows, so we had our work cut out for us, and that was my bad. I'll take full responsibility for that. That will never happen again,
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, so
now I know who not to trust with my transponder.
Yeah, exactly. Or you may want to trust me with your transponder now, because I learned it, and it ain't going to happen again.
Yeah, true that. Actually, I do want you trusting my transponder.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a big one. I know you've won, when you guys went back to the Nationals and that was that Minn Kota when you won a main event back there?
Oh, yeah. I won the first night of the Summer Nationals or whatever. It was 4 back-to-back nights of racing, and I got the first one, and then we finished second overall out of the 4 nights. It was pretty cool. We won some money, so it felt really good.
Nice.
Yeah,
so,
and then the Missouri Nationals, that one, people give me the credit, but I don't take it because it was Chris Crowder's race, and he broke, so I don't take full credit for that one.
Yeah.
But a win's a win, I guess.
A win's a win, man. I mean, you got to take them while you can get them. So
yeah.
I told you I had a little surprise for you. And so this is a story, and I'm sure you'll remember it as I start telling it. So right when we first started running with you, it might have been a year or so afterward, maybe not even that, we were at Placerville. and it was under a hot lap session, and Wink came in and said, you know, he kind of had a big smile on his face and was laughing, and he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "What?" You know where I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
So Wink tells me, he said, "Man, Grant pulls up alongside of me, and he's pointing, and I'm thinking something's wrong with the car." So I kind of, you know, swerve around a little bit and get on the throttle, and so I pull back up alongside of him, and he's like pointing again. Well, he's not pointing; he was flipping me off. And but he said, he goes, his hand's so little I couldn't tell. It's like a little monkey hand. So kind of an inside joke. You know, we've always called Grant monkey hands. So I hope you don't take offense to that. But that's a cool story, and we thought it was pretty funny. You know.
Yeah, I think my dad was telling me to mess with Wink, and he's like, flip him off or something at some point, and then or he said it like earlier on in the day, and then I never got the chance because I didn't see him.
Yeah.
And then I just thought it would be so funny if we were in the car and I did it.
Yeah.
We were mud packing or something, and I did it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. We had a lot of fun that weekend. We didn't have a lot of fun with that car. I mean, that car was a handful when we took it up there, and man, it was just it was a handful for us. And I think we even scratched the next night. We didn't even run it. So
yeah, I forget how I even did up there.
Yeah, we were terrible. I think we scratched the next night. We couldn't figure it out. We had so many people helping us, and we had some of the Washington guys down there helping us. And man, we went so many different directions on that car. We just kind of dialed ourselves out, and we were junk. And you know, we don't want to tear somebody else up. So
I think actually that night, I sailed it off in turn one into the tractor tires.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lost my brake.
So this is one question that we've been asking the drivers prior to you, and we're going to ask you too, and this is all in fun. And just so you're sitting in staging, and you've got one of your competitors starting ahead of you, and you get the chance to send them to the back. And yeah. So, you know, we've had Gasper told us that we were going to send the 41 car to the back. And then Crowder was like, you know, I don't really want to send anybody to the back. But, you know, I mean, if I, you know, he had the same kind of take I did was, you know, he'd have to start back a ways because there's quite a few of them that would have to be sent to the back. But, man, if I'm racing down there with you guys, man, that Charmontaine, that 73 car, that kid's quick, man. You know, that's an awesome car, and man, he's got some talent for sure. So that would be my pick if I was down there with you guys. You know.
Yeah, I freaking love that kid. I don't know, it'd be hard for me to take him out, but if there's a lot of money on the line, I might have to.
Yeah.
He's not done me dirty, so I don't think I'd do him dirty. But if that AJ Bender was in the 41 car, I'm definitely taking him out.
Dang.
That 41.
That ain't good.
Got to get that 41.
That ain't good. That's
only
two.
because I love AJ. That's
two
my boy.
That's 2 of 3 so far.
Yeah. So, that's a good sign. That means you got some good racing going on there.
And AJ is probably one of the quickest lightning pit drivers I've ever raced against. He's so fast every race.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've known AJ a long time. I think first time I met AJ was, man, I don't even know if he was old enough to drive a car yet. Bobby was running, I think, the number 5 car, a white 5 car or something like that. And I remember, you know, AJ was always down there. And then when AJ started racing, you know, I mean, he did very well, you know. All you young guys do. Makes us older guys have to hustle up, you know. So
nice.
It's the fear factor. We don't have as much fear.
Yeah, that is my
Oh, I know, man.
With you there. Just jump, go.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
Jump and go.
We break a lot more stuff though. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So when I first started working on a oil rig, they would tell me, they wouldn't call me Bill. They'd call me Junior because I hadn't made it to be called Bill yet. So they call me Junior. They'd be like, Junior, come on, just throw your purse at it. You can get it. You know, he ain't gonna hurt this iron. And I'm like, okay, all right. So, I did everything I could, just put out as best I could. And they were wrong. They were wrong because they sent me a couple of times to go get water trailers. And one time I came back with no water trailer. And I said, it's right there. And it wasn't there. The other time they sent me to go get it, I came back and just the tongue was hooked up to the truck. So I had the tongue with no trailer. The trailer had dropped off somewhere. So,
oh man,
yeah, get her done and go get it. As a young guy. So, yeah. Hey Grant, we're kind of at the end of our questions here, and this is the kind of the spot where we kind of talk about any of your sponsors, or someone in your racing world that you would like to thank before we go.
Yeah, of course. I'd like to thank Sexton Fire Protection. Always, he's my dad's company. He does everything for me. He's awesome. Troy Dirt, BK Wings, Billy Kramer. He builds the best wings there is. Very reliable and pretty fast wings. The Keys brothers, they're awesome. I love those guys. They do so much for us, me, my dad, and my brother. Then Victory Graphics and Swift Powder Co. They both hook it up and make our cars look good. My Nana, she does so much for my racing career, and she's helped me from the start. She's helped me get to where I'm at. And then now since I'm in the sprint cars, I'd like to give a big shout out to David Vizio. He's definitely a huge help, and he's practically sponsoring my whole sprint car team almost. He hooks it up with everything.
Nice. Well, I hope it was fun for you to call in. It sure was for us. And thank you so much for calling in.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, thank you.
You guys too.
You bet. And Grant, we'll be sending you out a text when we go live, so you can listen in and tell a friend.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Man, the young one. So is that like 17? So is that like the average age, or is he a young one, or is he?
He's a young one, but lightning sprints are kind of a very diverse group of drivers. We've got them really young. This weekend, we've got a very young driver, Seth Dyer, is going to be making his debut out at Bakersfield Speedway, and I think he'll do pretty good. He's come up through the ranks from wheel to wheel, running the smaller cars, but he's going to be getting in a lightning sprint this weekend. But there's a pretty diverse group of individuals that run those cars. We've got a little bit of the age is kind of scattered out, in these cars. So
nice. What do you think like the commonality is there? Just a desire to go faster?
The thing is with racing is once you get it in your blood, it's like an addiction that there's no cure for. It's just something you grow up with, and it's obsession, kind of, so to speak. And I mean, you just get so wrapped up in it, and the speed and the family and the racing community is, kind of above none. I mean, a lot of times guys will get their cars wrecked out, or bend up a front axle, and other teams will jump in there and help them fix it and make repairs and help to get them back for the main event or something like that. But it's just a pretty different group of people. It's hard to explain, and that's the one thing I try to tell people that don't understand auto racing, especially on the dirt, is like it's like a football game where all the teams are on the field at the same time, and everybody's trying to score, everybody's trying to win. It's a lot of emotion, and it's like I said, it's an addiction. It's hard to get away from it. We did for a few years, and then we ended up coming back. So
I get it. I get some of it. Let's say, I ride a motorcycle, not professionally, sometimes I think I'm professional, but man, that speed, sometimes that speed is just, it gets you, it grabs you, and you're just like, oh, I ain't leaving the beach till I get some more of that speed, and you just, want to, book it and cook it, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the, younger guys, there's more of a path to move up now than there was, years ago. You had to have a lot of money and, you had to have a lot of talent, of course. But, I think now there's more of a easier pathway for people to move up through, lightning sprints to midgets to sprint cars and, move back east where they race, a couple days a week back there, where it's that's where it's really happening out. We just do it on the weekends a couple times a month, but back there they do it a couple times a week. So, but there's a lot of young guys that are in the lightning sprints right now that are really got a lot of talent. There's Shiramonte and Sexton, AJ. There's quite a few. There's Greco, and there's a lot of fast people. Dyer. There's a bunch of them, and they're all fast. Dominic Del Monte, I think, like I said last time, he's a young guy, and he's been getting faster and faster. Every time he gets out on the track, and it's just a matter of time before he starts knocking them out of there, for the wins. But there's definitely a large influx right now of younger talent for sure. And it is pretty neat to sit back and watch them. Like Grant was saying at that race that he won at the World Outlaws, he hauled that thing in there on the top, and it was either going to come out the other side or it wasn't. And he squeaked it off. I mean, he barely beat Cody Nye, and I felt so bad for Cody because Cody had run probably one of his best races in a very long time, and to lose it there at the very end was a real heartbreaker for him.
Yeah, that is the racer's thing, if you will. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Hey, so we're ready for our next caller here, Mike.
Okay.
We got Scott Kinney calling in, and
Mr. Bill.
Hey.
Scott, how's it going?
Going good. What's going on, Mike?
Not much. No, so that's my this is Bill Mel. I'm the other part of that. We started this podcast, Behind the Wheel podcast, and we're on episode number 2. Glad to have you. I know we haven't met yet, but I'm stoked to be a part of this, and glad to have you here with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Bill, just a little history of this. So Bill has had this studio where he and his son were doing a podcast, and Bill's son has his life has changed some. He's in the academy now for the law enforcement, and recently got married, and so it kind of came about where we were talking about doing these, and Bill offered the opportunity. So this has been something that's been in the makes for a couple months now, and we've reached out to people all the way across the U.S., with Andy Bradley and Jason Berg and Crowder and Homewood up in Washington. So we've got a little bit of everybody that we're going to be getting on here and talking to them.
Love it. We need all we can for these lightning sprints.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Scott, so me and Mike kind of do a little tag team here on some of this stuff. I was wondering, how old are you, Scott?
I'm 52.
52?
Mm-hmm.
Like the big 5'2"?
Yep, the old veteran.
Holy smokes.
So we were just talking about that, the age. We've had Gasper on, and we just had Grant on, and so Bill was asking, is it a lot of younger guys? And I said, no, not really. I mean, it's a pretty diverse group of people.
Yeah, no, we got all the age groups, that's for sure.
That is awesome. Where are you from?
I'm in Roseville, California. So we're in Northern California out here.
Yes, sir.
BCRA.
Yep. So what are you doing to make a living up there, Scott? What are you doing now?
I own a roofing company. I've been pretty fortunate. I had my same employees for about 26 years, so
wow.
we allow a lot of free time to go out in the garage and work on race cars, and me and my kid get to travel all over and have fun racing.
Yeah. So I know you've been racing for, man, I have no idea. I know that you've been at it a long time. And so when did you get your start in racing? How old were you? And what class, what type of car were you driving?
I actually got a late start. Jesse Harmon, he was a superintendent of a job I was putting ropes on up in Reno. And so he just asked if I was mechanically inclined. I said, yeah. He said, hey, I could use some help on a lightning sprint. So I went out and helped him for a year. And at the end of the year, he let me do hot laps in his car. And I was sold, man. I sold my old 68 Nova, my boat. I was ready to go racing. So I got a late start. I'm going to say I was probably 27 when my first car I drove was a lightning sprint.
Wow. I know you've been at it a while. I know you drove for Lonnie, and you've won some races for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely got a lot of wins under my belt.
Yeah. So what do you guys got going on here coming up? Where are you guys? What's your next show?
So we were just in Chico Saturday night. We got our heat race. We got qualifying heat races in. The sprint cars were out for their B main, and the skies just unleashed. So unfortunately, the night got called. We're off this weekend, and then next weekend we'll be traveling to Antioch. Real fun track, good low, top line, good racing track. Kind of like a Bakersfield, about the same size.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I understand that now. Hey, so I got some inside info here. It looks like your son Hunter also races a team car with you.
That is correct.
Yeah, can you give some insight as to who that is, and for you being his dad?
So Hunter luckily got an early start in outlaw karts. So outlaw karts here in Northern California race during the winter, and so that makes it to where I'm able to race during the summer. So he raced those for about 2-3 years, and I always told him once he could pull back the clutch handle in a lightning sprint, he could start driving one. So we'd be out there working in the garage, and he'd just be in there with 2 feet up on the dash trying to pull that lever back. And sure as ever, as soon as he got to do that, I think he was 15 when he started. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun where, you get to share the garage with your kid. You go out on a weekly basis, traveling all over the coast and just racing. And, as I say, a racing family stays tight together. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We enjoy doing this together.
That's some good stuff. I my dad wasn't in my life quite a bit growing up, so we've been talking with a couple of riders or drivers here, and they've been talking about dad being the big influence in there, if you will, and dad being a part of, and I'm just smile from ear to ear when I hear that, because I'm definitely didn't grow up with the dad in my life that I thought I had coming, but I definitely got to be the dad that I thought I should have had to my children. And
I love it, Bill. I grew up the same way. I didn't have my father in my life. My mom was always a good influence for us, for me and my brother. And yeah, I knew that I was never going to have my son be like that with me. So
yeah,
we have a really close bond.
That's good stuff. I always, like I said, it always warms the heart when I hear about father-son relationship. Not that I got daddy issues. I'm just saying.
Sure. I hear you, Bill.
It is what it is, and I just sometimes I kind of get lost when I lose my mind when people be like, well, I didn't have a dad, so I didn't get wasn't a good dad. I'm like, that's no excuse. I just kind of use the thinking of, well, what would I have wanted at that age? And I'm just going to kind of give it, start from there.
Yeah.
So what did get you started in the racing industry?
So I'm actually not even in the racing industry. I am a real estate broker. I am one of the car number 41 sponsors, and me and Mike used to work together on an oil rig back in the day.
Yep.
Nice.
And so I guess about 5 years ago, Mike kind of hit me up. I was looking for sponsors, and I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, you've always been good to me. And my first day out on a rig was with Wink in 1990.
Oh,
I was like 18.
I know Wink, many years.
Yes. And so Wink and Terry Hibbets, it was a learning day. It was kind of, I've always been one of those ones to be like, yeah, you tell me to do that, I'm going to run over there and do what you just told me to do. I'm going to come back and now what? Like the puppy dog, what next? What next? So I am, like I said, about maybe 5 years in the sponsorship. I'm learning more and more as we go here, and kind of eager, it's not necessarily my go-to, if you will. I still kind of don't understand how the racing, kind of the racing thing works, but I'm learning, circles, sure. pass, circles, pass. So
right.
I'm learning. Please be patient with me for sure.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's just the racing family is just really good. I mean, especially these lightning sprints. It's so nice just to be able to tour up and down, northern and southern California. And we have so many great tracks here on the West Coast. Just such a great time.
Yeah, if everything works out, we're going to, we're trying to put it together now, but we're going to go back and run that Minn Kota deal.
That was a fun series last year.
Yeah, so I kind of followed that a little bit, and I've been talking with Jason Berg a little bit, and we're right now it looks like everything's pretty much a go. It is on my end. I just got to make sure that all the others
fuel sponsors.
Yeah, they ain't no kidding. Yeah,
jeez,
it's terrible right now. It's bad,
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story I could really get going on, because we don't need to be where we're at right now by any means. I mean, it's
I agree, Mike.
Uncalled for sure.
Hey, so Scott, so part of this all is to kind of question and answer, but feel free also on your behalf, if you have any questions for us. Like you said, how long you been in racing, Bill? Feel free to ask. I mean, we're definitely want to pass it on information and share some information,
sure.
With maybe those people who are, interested in racing, maybe don't know, about what it is here, what lightning sprints are. And, yeah.
So
no, I like it.
One thing I was wanting to ask you too, we've asked everybody that's been on, that we've spoken to. So, why the number 25?
So we'll go back to Jesse Harmon, the guy I was a crew chief for before I got to get into racing. He was number 24. So there's really no special number. It just, he was 24. So I was like, hey, why not be number 25?
There you go.
So it worked out pretty good. And then I was a big Harry Gant fan growing up as a kid. So I just always followed him. And back then you were able to have tobacco products on your cars, and he was the Skull Bandit.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I started tweaking that little Skull Bandit image, and I started putting my name in it. Scott Kinney is in the beard. And so now that's my new nickname. Well, not new, it's about 30 years now, but they call me the Bandit. So that was kind of like my little image on my race car.
Yep.
Wow, I forgot about that. I forgot that.
Oh yeah.
Skull.
Oh yeah, yep. Skull, Copenhagen.
I forgot.
All the beer companies, all of them.
That, and then, so I'm not a superstitious guy. And when I started racing, I was budget as it came. Harley Van Dyke. This is a man that really got lightning sprints. We called them midget lights back in the day. He is almost like the godfather that got this racing going. He was out there recruiting people every week. If you tore up a car, he'd open up a shop. He'd fix your car so you could make it the next week. And so when I bought my first race car off of Cameron Beard, I brought it out to his shop, and he's a farmer. And he had a couple quarts of John Deere green paint. And, I wasn't even a fan of green or anything, but it was just, I had free paint. I had a chance to paint my own car. So I started off with the green, and everybody was telling me, oh, that's superstitious. Me not being into racing, I had no idea. And yeah, that's all I've done now. Everything's got to be green.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy that you say that, and I wonder if that kind of come from the motorcycles, because it was back in the day too superstitious to have your motorcycle painted green.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know the history of it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it hasn't done you wrong so far, right?
No, I love it, and I'm kind of known for my green now. And if you look around, there's just so many green cars nowadays, especially like green race helmets.
Yeah. Green is go.
Yep.
It is. Green is money.
There it is. Hey, so Scott, what do you see in the future for the 25 team?
I see us doing this. I mean, I'm 52. I see no reason why I can't do this for another 10 years. Obviously, I'm going to do it as long as I can with my kid until he starts a family and, his wife decides, no, he can't race anymore, or he's got to raise kids or whatever it be. But yeah, I want to keep doing this. It's something I enjoy every weekend. I get to enjoy it with my kid. And if I can keep winning, I mean, I'm not a guy that just wants to go out there and make circles. I want to win every race. So when I show up to the track, I expect myself to win. So I cut my elbows up, and we race against a bunch of 16 to 50-year-olds.
Yep,
good
so
stuff.
To me, I mean, I go to the gym every morning just so I stay in shape, because I tell you how many times I've passed cars, with 5 laps to go because they're falling out of the seat, because we don't have power steering in these race cars. We really have to muscle those things in the corner. And you can see that, these younger kids, just sitting behind the desk or in books, they're getting tired after, 15 laps or so. And that's when you really get your elbows up, and last few laps you start passing them for the win.
Wow.
Well, I got to confess, that 41 car's got power steering in it.
No, I know. And I was even thinking on my new car, Chris Crowder.
Yeah.
He helped me out building me a new Diablo this year. And so I told him, buddy, I said, I'm tired of my forearms just pumping. I really think I need to get power steering. And so he agreed. He wanted to do it himself. But the chassis that they build, the unit is too tall for where the rack is in the chassis. So I think they're going to be doing some modifications here in the next year or so people can put power steering. Because I hear it's actually not power steering, it's like an assist. I've never drove one with it, but I mean, I definitely feel the older I get, it's something that you need, especially on like a heavy, rough track.
Well, when we've had that car for a number of years, and we never had it activated, and AJ was always on us about, hey, we need to get that hooked up. We need to get that hooked up. So this year we hooked it up, and it is pretty amazing. It's oh man, it is really something. So the first race of the year for us at Bakersfield, we kind of had a little snafu on my end, and we started back a ways and kind of put AJ behind the gun. So, he was kind of having to push that car pretty hard, and he ended up catching that infield tractor tire, and it bent the axle and the tie rod, and it bent the drag link all the way in against the motor. And he was up to 5th.
I was down there with you guys racing that night.
Yep. So he got up to 5th, and we fell back and finished 7th. So when he was coming off the track, he turned the power steering. I put a switch in there so that, depending on who's in the car, if they like it, if they don't, if there's a problem, they can turn it off. And when he came off the track, he couldn't turn the car without it. So he had to turn it back on. So that's how much of a difference there is with that power steering. Without it, he couldn't turn the car with that drag link bent up against the engine.
Sure.
So
what chassis you guys running, Mike?
Got that old Hingecraft.
Okay, Hinge.
Yeah, it's a 07, and we do pretty
you say
good.
Old. We're running those ARTs, and I think our chassis, my sons and I, man, if it's a 2000, I'd be surprised. But we love them.
Yeah, we had that 91 car, and I really love that car, but, one of them had to go, and it's tough to do 2 cars when you only have 2 or 3 people. It's tough. And so one of them had to go, and so we decided that the 91 car would be the one that we got rid of, but I kind of wish I would have kept it and just set it aside for now. I mean, we didn't have to run it. I should have just kept it.
Sure, but I mean, it's tough to have 2 different style chassis. And that's why with my son and I, our chassis are identical. We can swap motors. We can swap radius rods. So that just really simplifies things. So trying to race with 2 different chassis, you got so many spares. What goes to this car? What goes to that car? And it just becomes a mess. And you know what I mean, Mike?
Right. Oh, yeah. So with that car, that new car that you're building, what motor are you putting in that thing?
We're sticking with the ZX12s, bud. We really love these motors.
Same here.
I'm hoping that BCRA and the SWLS will get rid of this weight rule, because, I mean, we're so under horsepowered compared to these new 2019 motors and stuff. It'd be nice so we're not bolting on and putting a ton of fuel in our car just to make weight every night.
Yeah.
But they're good, strong motors. I mean, we're not going to set any quick times, but by the time the main event comes, we hit our setup just right. We're going to be right there with the best of them.
Oh yeah.
But what I really like about these 12s is that they got the bigger crank, bigger rods, and we'll get 30 to 40 shows out of a $1,800 rebuild.
Yeah.
Where these guys are buying these 2019 motors for $9 to $10,000, and they get 14 shows and they're doing a rebuild. So we're trying to keep it cost efficient. Definitely the 1200 is a way to go, but we're really getting ourselves dated, with these new motors and how much power they're actually putting out.
Wow. Hey, Scott, so you got a favorite track you like to race?
Favorite track? Well, so sprint cars, Tulare, I think, is the fastest track in California. Midgets, driving my midget days, I love Calistoga, big, fast half mile. But if we have to do lightning sprint, probably Knoxville on the Hill. We're going to call it Placerville. It's a local track, 45 minutes from the house. And, there's just a great racy track. I mean, liking them, they've come down a few times to this track. And it just always seems like, the best of the best races at Placerville. And so you always have good competition on the local Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been up there yet. I've been here in Bakersfield, of course, that's our local track, and I've been to Ventura.
Yep.
Driven past, I think, Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Which is no more, unfortunately.
Yeah. But that's kind of it.
Yeah, so you guys got to do a little more driving down there in Central, Southern California. We're here in Northern California. We got like 6 tracks within an hour and a half of each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it makes it pretty convenient for us.
Super convenient, yeah. And probably makes being able to race there, like you said, convenient. I know I repeated what you just said.
Yeah, down here with BCRA, we have Placerville, Marysville, Chico, Antioch, Petaluma, and then Bakersfield. And those are probably pretty much, our good little central location. Oh, and I forgot Reset. Sorry. Reset. Yeah. The promoters there have just really turned that place around. That's becoming one of my favorite tracks now, especially non-wing.
Wow.
Hey, so Scott, who's been your biggest influence in racing in your life?
I'd have to go back to Harry Gant, but he wasn't even an open wheeler. But watching Kyle Larson come through the ropes. So my kid was racing with them and in those little outlaw carts. And then at this time I was driving sprint cars. He came to start racing sprint cars with us, and he really didn't set the world on fire the first few races, but boy, he sure got a handle on it, within about a half a dozen races. And before you knew it, he was the guy to beat. And now look at him. Anything he jumps in, he's winning.
Yep. So, I know you've been doing this quite a while, and I mean, you run quite a few races a year. You talk to a lot of people. You've been around a lot of people, car owners alike. What's some of the best advice that someone has given you in your racing career? What's something that you think has been one of the best pieces of advice that you could share with us?
I'd say there's a couple things, and they both came. I call him the godfather of lightning sprints. Is Harley Van Dyke. Like I said, he always opens the shop up to anybody, and so Hunter and I would go up there on a weekly basis. Just if we weren't working on our cars, we were working on his, or somebody else was crashed. And he would just always push it on us: do not follow, go wherever they're not. And it just really always sink in. And so when I'm out there on the track, I can always hear him telling me that, don't follow. And, if you're not following somebody and you're going to drive around the outside or the inside of them, well, now you've got the whole track blocked, so nobody else is going to pass you. So unless you try, you don't know if you can get around them.
Right.
And the next thing he always told me is that this is a momentum race. These cars, you have to keep up your momentum. So when you go in the corner, you just don't throw it in the corner. You really got to keep the speed up in the corners if you want to be fast down the straightaway. So those two things really always stick in my head when I'm racing, and I can always just hear them in my ear just telling me, don't follow, keep your momentum up. So just stuff like that has always stuck with me since I was a kid.
Yeah, I've been riding a motorcycle Like I said, not professionally, but I ride motorcycle. I got a Harley Road Glide at the house, and oftentimes when we're riding in a pack with the fellas, man, we're not bumper to bumper, but we're right there. You know what I mean? A few inches away from each other, riding in a pack and in formation and getting after it. So
Oh yeah, and those are your fellow brothers. So I mean, that you can be next to them just like in a race car. You can ride next to these people, at 80 to 100 miles an hour, and they're not going to crash.
Yes. Yeah. It's scary at
so
times.
Whether you're on the street, you're on the street or you're on the racetrack, you have these fellow brothers that yes, we're racing hard, or we're out on a Sunday cruise, but that you can ride right next to them, and you got the trust that they're not going to take you out.
Yes. True story. It's the other folks on the road that scare me.
Yep.
It is. All these textures nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah, so that would probably be the best advice you'd share with somebody else as well, right?
Absolutely.
Amen. Yeah, that's good stuff.
And then it's nice that, with being one of the veterans, so many people come up to you every night, just helping me with the setup. And if it's not me, it's the next guy next to me. Everybody, we're really just a racing family. And if somebody needs something, they crash, we all pull together to help them get back on the track. And, once we get them back on the track, we're going to race them hard, but we do everything we can to just keep everybody racing and, keep it cost efficient as we can.
Yeah. So I know that you've won quite a few races, like we kind of touched on earlier. What do you think is your most fondest memory of winning? Which race would you think is your biggest race that you'd won?
Jeez. Every time I win, I'm happy. I mean, I don't even, Tulare, we only got to race there a couple times. We used to have, Mike, you probably remember, we used to have a Thanksgiving race.
Oh, yeah.
We would do Tulare on a Friday and maybe Bakersfield on a Saturday or vice versa.
Yeah.
Those were fun. And so usually winning those big races, because that was back when we had Northern Stars, Lightning Sprints, and BCRA. So we had 3 different divisions joining up for these big races. And this was back when we had Brad Sweet and all the kids racing with us. And so I'd say those are some of the best wins, but just every night, I go out there to win, and I race hard with my kid. I probably race my kid harder than I race anybody else. Yeah, every night I just want to win.
Yeah, that's what we were. We ran with the Northern Stars until that folded up. And
back
then,
in the old Chowchilla days, Friday nights, and then we'd go run Saturday night with either Lightning Sprints or BCRA.
Yep, that's what we did. We sure did.
That was back when Wink was heavily into it. I remember racing against Wink many times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Where is Wink nowadays? I haven't heard from him. Geez, probably 5 years the last time I seen him at Chili Bowl.
He's with me every time that 41 car's out. We're together.
Oh, is he over there? Okay.
Yeah, he's been out there with us every time except for maybe one or two times.
But he doesn't travel down here. He doesn't come to the Placerville races.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Surprised he come by and say hi.
Yeah, I will.
I hope you're listening to this, Wink.
Yeah. When we just went up to Placerville this year, Wink was with us. I think since I've been
town race.
Yeah. We went up there that first race, the opener BCRA. We went up there and ran, and man, we had a good time with all those guys. And everybody was very hospitable, and it was got to kind of speak with a lot of guys that I haven't seen in many years, and it was pretty fun just kind of going back. So speaking of all in fun, this is kind of one question that we've been asking some of the guys. So, if you're sitting there and staging and, there's a lot of fast cars, and so you're sitting there and staging and there's somebody you don't want to deal with and you want to move them to the back, who would your choice be? And I'm going to tell you mine right now, just from what I've been seeing. If I'm running with you guys, I'm moving Dakota Albright to the back because that car looks super fast, man.
It is, man. He's really got that thing going with this new fuel injection system and everything.
So is that a 12? Did he get rid of his 1200s, or is he still running a 12?
So he got rid of the 12, and he's running a Kawasaki. I believe it's a 17 or 19 Kawasaki with some new fuel injection.
Wow.
He's calling somebody back east every week, and they're getting them dialed in, and it's really working out great for him.
Yeah, we're going to need to get that phone away from him at the track, for sure. So, I mean, that would be my guy that if I was running with you guys, because I mean, him and that Matt Land. I mean, when we went up there and ran that 91 car, I mean, I know what car that is, but man, he was sure fast too. So it'd probably be one of those two guys,
Yeah, John Taylor built a really nice race car.
Yeah.
And so that was one of John Taylor's cars that he sold to the Land family. And yeah, it's just everything on that state of the art. And for him coming out for his first year, he's really turning heads. I mean, he's doing good, but
he sure is.
I'd say I'd have to put my kid to the back. I mean, my kid races me just as hard as I race him, and we talk about no power steering, so it wears you out. If you're racing against somebody lap after lap, and my kid's not going to give me an inch, so I'm going to say my kid.
100 to the back, 100 to the back.
Yeah, 100 to the back every time.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, so Scott, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight with us, today with us, if you will. This is kind of, we're almost to the end of our episode here, and this is kind of like at the spot where we kind of, before we go any further, we kind of see if there's any sponsors or someone you'd want to thank.
It's pretty much my son and I do this on our own. I own a ripping company, SNS Ripping, and so we pretty much fit our own bill. Awesome. So it makes it nice. Red Hawk Casino's really come aboard this year, and so I've actually been driving their car for most of the races. And so we've been trying to work out the gremlins in their motor. For some reason, we just can't get that thing going yet. But I got nothing but faith in those guys, and I've drove for them many, many years. Tony Fonseca and Tracy Fonseca, they're great people. And look forward to winning lots of races for those guys.
That's the 9 car?
That is the 9 car, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Normally when you see me down there, Mike, is they don't do the traveling series, so they run all the BCRA races, and my son and I, we're just racers. So if we have an off night and CLS is racing, we're all about supporting another division. So we'll make long drives down there to race with you guys so we can race every weekend.
Yeah, that's something that we're going to do this year is try to venture out a little bit more. We're going to try to go run that Minn Kota thing like I was talking, and we're going to get back up there and see you guys again. This weekend we'll be running at Bakersfield. AJ will be at Ventura with the 410, so we've got James Turnbull we're going to put in the car this weekend.
Perfect. James is a good little driver.
Yep. I think he'll do really good, so we're going to see how we fare with him. But once again, man,
but definitely go support Jason Berg out there. That guy does a lot of legwork to make this Minnesota series possible for us, and we had a blast last year.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend, if I could say anything, support that guy, because he does a lot of hustling for us to get that series and to be able to race 5 racetracks in 6 nights. And these are all good quality tracks. You're going to have a good time. I'm sad to see that the fuel prices are so high, because it might scare away a few people, kind of like what we just had our national races 2 weeks ago. And we had 40 cars last year. This year we had 22. And it makes it tough. So, I mean, we all are, just your average blue collar people, and trying to make those totes, and when it costs you $5,000 to $10,000 to go race, it's not feasible.
Yeah. Well, I just want to tell you good luck at your next one, to you and Hunter, and thank you so much for calling in and being a part of this. We really appreciate it.
Mike, Bill, I can't appreciate you guys. I mean, if it wasn't for people like you putting us out there, we wouldn't have the promoters and the racetracks and what we do. So we need more people like you guys who really want to push and keep this thing going. And I got to give a shout out to our president, Greg Dennett. He's really stepped it up. Dakota was there doing it last year. We got Greg this year. So without people like that are going to take the drama and keep this series going, I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere. So we really got to think of all those guys. Yeah,
so actually we had Greg slotted for tonight, and they had a BCRA board meeting that he couldn't get out of. So you kind of bumped him out.
There you go. I like it. Put him to the back.
Yeah, you put him to the back. Yeah. So we've got plans to bring him back on. I talked to him, our Cinematex, earlier today, and just told him kind of what we had going on. So, but once again, thank you so much, and we're gonna let you go. And thanks again for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Have a good one. Look forward to meeting you at the next race.
Bill, always a pleasure, buddy. Mike, look forward to seeing you at the track.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Wow, that was a good call.
Yeah, all of them.
Good. Yeah.
I think every driver that we've done so far is some of them have had some of the same influences in racing, and there's been a lot of different situations that everybody sees a little differently. So it's been pretty cool,
I am coming to realize that, dads make the world go round.
Yeah.
The dads. So if you're a dad out there and you're hearing this, good job. Kudos to them dads. I'm excited about this, Mike. We're to second episode. We're at the end of our second episode, and I'm looking forward to meeting some of these racers. So I'm gonna have to start showing up maybe a little bit early so I can get back in the pits and get some pictures, so we can put on when we go audio video here. Put on some pictures about who these people are that we're talking to, and face the name.
Yeah, we've got some other drivers that we're going to be interviewing. We're going to be moving back a little bit farther east on the next one. So we got one that's going to be out of Indiana, and then we've got a couple others. So we've got a well-rounded group. We've got a young gal that we're going to be talking to.
Wow.
That should be exciting. There's not many of them around anymore, and there's a few of them that are very, very fast. It just takes time, seat time, and experience, and the desire to keep digging no matter how bad it is. It's everybody's like that, the same.
Good stuff. The only female name that I could ever imagine or think of that was be involved in any kind of racing would be Shirley Modowney.
Oh,
right.
There you go. Yeah.
That's the only one that comes to mind. And so when you say we got a female coming up, I'm stoked to hear that.
Yeah, there's been a few of them in the lightning sprints, and there still is a few of them in the lightning sprints, and then in the midget division, the sprint cars, there's getting to be more and more, and there's a lot of talent, just like the boys. They get out there and lay the wood to them, they show them no mercy.
Good stuff. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you again, Mike. Bill Mell and Associates, BillMell.com if you're looking to sell a house or to buy a house in Bakersfield. Definitely go check out and see what we have available here. We've got a great affordability issue, if you will. Our median home sales price here in Bakersfield, $380,000. Average square foot is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,600 square foot. If you're looking to buy a home here in Bakersfield, maybe a rental property or something along those lines, definitely reach out, give me a call. Again, that's BillMell.com. Thank you.